American Patriot Relief and Jaleese, they have a hotline. It's 833 saved J6. And they're helping pick up the slack on the commissary so these guys can eat. And Trennis is helping with the legal side. I mean, these are the groups, these are the people. And American the Patriot Mail Project, I'm sorry, that's awesome. These are the people that are stepping up. But if you have the mixed feelings about what you did because of a tactic, if you feel guilty, this is the helpline that people can call and talk to. And we try to just reach out to these J6ers, because the ones that aren't in the prison system don't know about the support groups. They don't know about the help line, about all these people that want to support them and love them and help their families. So, I think that underlying tone of terrorism is exactly, I mean, we witnessed a war that we didn't pick, we didn't choose to be in. And, there's two sides to that story. There's two sides to that building. And what they did was criminal in itself. And we talk about due process, and I agree with that, but we need freedom. This was a complete setup, and there needs to be, a payback for that, real solid consequences for the criminals that did this. And I think that's what Juan said in Bloody Hill, that, we're a lawful people, not an unlawful people. That's why we demand justice for these people. And, if you need a better understanding of that, go watch Bloody Hill and see what we experienced if you weren't there. And, our other film too, Writing History, because it shows what we experienced and why we're traumatized. And then to have the FBI stalking you at your home, how that makes you feel, and your children. We're talking about the prisoners. Now multiply that times an entire family, and multiply that, the family watching the prisoners going through this, and the children that haven't seen or touched their family in 2 years. I mean, this is the reality of it. So as much as the due process, I agree, so important that these people get a fair trial, but they're being railroaded in the first place with false, bogus charges. I mean, this is a complete setup. So let's remember to really reach out to those people that are hiding. I mean, look, we're not asking you to come out. We're just asking you to realize we're here to help you. If you need to talk to somebody, there's a helpline, 833 saved J6, and just call, and we want to help you. There's support groups. There's financial support. Trennis's group, these other groups are, stepping up and stepping in, and we just need all the help we can get. Thanks.
Yeah, such an important thing, man. Support groups. That just brings up something so important. I think we maybe have gotten on something that's important here. Everybody here, everybody that's going through this matters, and there needs to be a unified support group. And I see so many, ways to donate and stuff. Let's just share it. Let's get it together, and let's get everybody due process, and let's get everybody's stories heard. That's the best thing I'm taking out of this space right now. Jason, go ahead.
Awesome. Hey, we're going to go Trennis, Brandon, and then Maga Grandma. And then Shane will get you up if that works, man.
Hey, awesome. Thank you guys again. Thanks for letting me jump up here. I'll make it brief because I want to hear from these other people. I know most of these stories, but it's important that they're told. So without taking too much time, I would like to note that Victoria White, she was up earlier and she didn't quite get out what she wanted to get out. One of those things that I know that she wants to, that people need to know, is that woman was pummeled 35 times in roundabout 4 minutes by that officer, Jason Bagshaw, with a metal baton in the head. That is insane. That's called abuse of power under the color of authority. She had nowhere to go. Where did he think she was going to go? Into a mass of people by beating her in the head? So, but back to what, the Middletons here, these are fantastic people. I've watched this organization spring up and help so many people until the people like the Middletons put this hotline out. I'm telling you, David Summerall and I collectively, I know that I've talked to somewhere near 500 January 6th defendants, and there's many that I talk to late at night, early in the morning, all hours of the day and night. I've done nothing but this for 2 years, and I'm telling you now that there's so many, the suicides like I was talking about, and I always hesitate to not take a call because I'm going, man, this could be somebody else that's kind of living on the edge. And we've talked to some of these people. It's been just tragic story after tragic story, and you guys are getting a taste of it now. I'm so glad you created this space again. But one of the other things I want to mention is Judges have even questioned why the 1512 charge, which is the one that carries the 20-year penalty, as she made Miss Middleton made the great reference there, that is for what they did for Enron, for basically if you're trying to destroy evidence to defeat the interest of Congress or to subvert the justice of Congress. This wasn't made for, we have stuff, picketing and parading, et cetera, that fit these crimes. If you actually watch these videos, my videos show, I'm there saying, don't harm the police, don't damage the building. This has to be a peaceful protest, demonstration only, no rioting, no looting. This is on video. The government used this evidence, and not just in my case, countless other cases. People were doing the same thing, and then they're carted off to prison. This is totally inconsistent. One of the things that we're working on is an effort, and I told you we work on a lot of legal actions. It's what we do more so. We do represent the interests of numerous January 6ers, or close to 50 of them, over the course of time here. But more so, what we do is overarching arguments. Like we have one currently filed in the writ of mandamus in the appellate court there in D.C. to disqualify the judges because they're alleging themselves to be victims, thanks to a case Judge Mehta took on by the Attorney General in the District of Columbia. But I don't want to get bored people or bog people down with the legal actions. I think we got a lot of that earlier. Not that people are bored by McBride, the guys that were talking earlier, but there's so many other people here need to talk. By the way, Pam Hemphill, MAGA Granny, compelling story. She's been through a lot. She has done so much, and she has been out there and been a fighter. So God bless her and so many others. MAGA Granny, Pam, I love you to death, dear, and God bless you for all you do. Cajun Queen, there's so many great people. And then Gina Bisignaro is down here somewhere. I saw a lot of other J6ers in this room. So you guys, I think they asked earlier if you're a J6er, message Jason or Mike, and they will bring you up to a speaker. Thanks so much for letting me talk again, guys.
I want to jump in real quick before we get to the next person and just say again, everybody has so many things that we can do to help everyone here tonight. And I think we all need to get together and find a spot where we can unify this so that everyone can go to one place and see where they can help everyone, because everyone needs help here. And I just think this is a great space. Jason, what's up next?
All right. Hey, let's go, Brandon. And then long-awaited Maggie Grandma.
He just said, let's go, Brandon.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's go, Brandon.
Bump, bump.
All right, thanks, guys. So I wanted to share an aspect of my case with everybody because it's kind of like a newer. Chuck, can you mute, please? It's kind of a newer aspect that I haven't really talked about because I didn't know what direction it was going to go, and I just didn't, whatever. But so in addition to all of the horrors of the criminal cases that we all have gone through, some of us have also been targeted for civil lawsuits. And Robert, oh yeah, he's still here. Robert brought this up a little bit earlier. But anyway, in September of 2021, this would have been about 9 months after I was FBI raided and jailed and was still going through my criminal case. I got served in the case of Smith versus Trump. I want to talk to you guys about this a little bit because I want you to understand just how dishonest all of this is. I mean, everyone's starting to get a pretty clear picture now of what's been going on, but the depths to which this dishonesty reaches out. So there's a Soros-funded nonprofit law firm in Washington, D.C. called Lawyers Committee for Civil Rights Under Law. Check out their website and you'll get a pretty clear idea very quickly of the kind of people they are and what they're all about. It's essentially like a social justice law firm, and they engage in a lot of lawfare against conservatives, basically, suing conservative people and causes, alleging civil rights violations and white supremacy lawsuits and things like this. And they are in fact funded by George Soros and a number of Democrat high dollar donors. Anyway, they concocted this idea of a lawsuit called Smith versus Trump, where what they did was they went out and they found 8 Capitol police officers who happened to be black and brown people. And they sued me and about 3 dozen other people alleging, they sued us under the KKK Act, alleging civil rights conspiracy and civil rights violations. And essentially what they were saying is that a bunch of white supremacist Trump supporters came to DC with an intent to, attack the Capitol, attack these police officers, and that there was a specific focus placed on doing harm to these officers of color. Now, in my case, and I think hopefully you guys are also getting a clear picture here that, if somebody did in fact attack an officer or, had some obvious intention to do some sort of harm or destruction, the government's not going to let that go. They're not letting anything go. Nobody's getting off the hook with anything. In fact, it's exactly the opposite. So the fact that I was never charged with any violence, vandalism, theft, or destruction, I was never accused of violence, vandalism, theft, or destruction. I ended up taking a misdemeanor plea deal and pled guilty to misdemeanor disorderly conduct. Nonetheless, the fact that I am who I am, and I never entered the building either, for anyone who doesn't know, I was outside on the East Side steps for 8 minutes shooting a video. But because I am who I am, they included me in this lawsuit and came at me with 6 civil counts. And it took a year and a half before Judge Maida in DC, who's also taking a good number of these criminal cases, ruled on our motions to dismiss. And a couple of people did get dismissed outright, but the majority of people got kept in. And by the way, they're also suing Proud Boys and Oath Keepers and Donald Trump and several other people. So Judge Maida kept me in this case on 2 counts. So I'm now moving forward into discovery right now in this case, which is insane. And I'm very likely going to end up having to defend myself again, this time on trial, civil trial in Washington, D.C., back to another D.C. judge and a D.C. jury. But the 2 counts that I've been kept in on are aiding and abetting assault and aiding and abetting battery. Now, again, no violent charges, no violent accusations of any kind. But here's where it gets really insane. The officers that are suing me, and by the way, I don't let them off the hook because obviously they're a part of this. They're complicit in this total lie, in this ruse. However, at the end of the day, they are being used. I mean, they're literally, this lawsuit is not their idea. They did not go to this law firm and say, oh, we were injured and Brandon Straka contributed to our injury and we feel that this needs to be made right. The law firm chose the people they were going to go after, and then they chose the plaintiffs. I mean, plain and simple. That's what happened. But what makes this so interesting is that these officers were not